Um, I am okay. So I actually I'm the son of a mechanical engineer who
Okay.
used to work in NTPC.
Okay.
So I grew up in Bihar, in
Okay.
a very
Okay.
small little town called
Okay.
Kahalgaon, near a
Uh,
city that people may know about called Bhagalpur.
I know. I
My dad,
visited.
oh, lovely. So I, so I actually grew up in a township which had its own sets of great things because it's an extremely cosmopolitan culture. It's like a mini India that you grow up in.
Right.
But my parents always had this sense that I should not go to the school that was inside the township.
Okay. Okay.
And the reason was they wanted me to not have a sense of who my father is because when you are in a township and you go to a township
Right.
school,
Right. Right.
um,
Right.
kids intermingle with each
Ex
other with that in the backdrop.
right.
And
Right.
so I went to a school outside of the township, and I am so ever grateful for that. Right? So
Okay.
it was St. Joseph School, Pakartala, and met some of my best friends, best mentors, best guides in my life over there. Um, I was never someone who knew what they wanted to do in life. I was very
Okay.
clear on what I did not want to do. It has mostly been like a process of elimination for me. When I was so our school was till class 10, and when class 10 got over, my dad said, it's better that you go off to Calcutta and pursue your 11th and 12th there. And I was lucky, very lucky to get into one of the oldest schools of the country, actually,
Oh,
and a very famous school, St. Xavier's Collegiate School, Calcutta.
okay.
Um, it was that was, I think, the first turning point of my life because
Okay.
I came from this place which was like a very safe environment. Everyone knew everyone. I was
Right.
like this very
Right.
good, quiet kid.
Right.
I used to be very proud of the fact that people know me, I know people, and then so on and so forth.
Right.
Suddenly, someone picks you up from there and
Right.
puts you in a city
Right.
where you're
No
just
one knows
lost,
you.
right?
Right.
Exactly, and it kind of hit me. But I also found some really lovely teachers over there.
Okay.
Um, some of my earliest passions start from that transition. I was always good at maths. I was
Okay.
good at physics, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But I met this teacher called Anindya Mazumdar. He was a teacher. He was a maths teacher in
Okay.
Xavier's,
Okay.
and I was very interested in English. I
Okay.
was very good at literature and
Okay.
history, something that
Right.
used to interest me a lot.
Right.
So I got my wings there, right? So I got this freedom to explore what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and ended up pursuing statistics. Um,
Okay. Okay.
Again, as a process of elimination, a lot of people don't know this about me, but kind of applied for all subjects everywhere, and, and ended up choosing statistics because that's what the smart kids used to do. I did not know anything about statistics, to be very honest.
Okay.
I went in having absolutely zero understanding of the subject.
Right.
Um, and went into doing statistics, did my bachelor's in it. Um,
Okay.
was decent at statistics, but I really loved probability. That's
Okay.
where
Okay.
probability as a subject became my first love.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and I watched this movie called A Beautiful Mind,
Okay.
which is an Oscar-winning movie actually from 2001.
Okay. Okay.
Story of John Nash, who is like the most famous game theorist there is.
Okay.
And there's this very cool scene in the movie which talks about around four friends are in a bar, and
Okay.
there are five beautiful ladies who turn up into the bar, and
Okay.
and figuring
Okay.
out how they should go up and ask the ladies for drinks so that they can all go home with one of the ladies, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
these are all like Princeton
Right.
folks who are
Right.
having this
Right.
conversation.
Right.
And there's this thing that in the movie is depicted as a solution, which at that point in time, as a young kid, I was like, this doesn't look like the right solution.
Right. Right.
And so I did not know who that person is. And this is early days. This is Encyclopedia Britannica days, no Google as such.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I figured out this subject called game theory, and probability was something that interested me. I
Mhm.
genuinely liked maths. So all in all, I wanted to go and study a subject which was like that, right?
Okay.
And
Nice.
that's how IIT Bombay happened again. Very lucky
Okay. Okay.
to somehow get there,
Right.
and did my masters.
Okay.
And was always hell bent that after my masters is done, I'm going to go and work somewhere for.
Okay. Okay. So how did
Met
PhD
my,
have?
met my wife at a conference. She
Oh,
was not even attending it. She was just
okay.
at the in the institute, and she said, "I'm going off to New York to
Okay.
do my PhD."
Okay.
So I said, "Oh, that's great, but does this work?" And we figured, Skype would be a great solution. And so I needed something where there would not be any working hours, and free internet. And IIT Bombay was anyway an
Right.
amazing place. I
Right.
think
Right.
if I ever got a chance to relive any portion of my life, I would relive IIT Bombay
IT
all
Bombay.
over.
Okay. Okay.
So that was how I decided to get into my PhD, to be very
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
But it has implications
Okay.
because I did not actually think about getting a PhD. For me, PhD was a journey where I could just go for the problems, right? So I did
Okay.
not
Right.
go about thinking that this is the problem, this is the area which I want to solve.
Right. Right. Right.
That helped me in retrospect a lot. And we can talk about that bit where I met my PhD guide, who
Right.
is one of the
Right.
influences on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very interesting journey. Did my PhD in a bit under somewhere around 3 years,
Okay.
and
Wow.
then somehow got this internship at McKinsey and Company.
Right. Okay.
Um, the then director at the place, Anirudh Patil, he kind of got me over. This is when AI was just kicking up,
Right.
and he
Right.
possibly
Right.
had an idea in his head of
Right.
having some sort of an AI R&D
Mm-hmm.
with the
Mm-hmm.
consulting framework. And it's an interesting take
Mm-hmm.
because big data is a myth. You
Right.
won't get a
Right.
lot of data science practitioners
Right. Right.
raving
Right.
about
Of
big
course. Of
data is a myth.
course. Of course.
And and then I was interested. I was intrigued. I was very intrigued by the fact that I could work in so many different sectors or
Mm-hmm. Right.
industries.
Right. Right.
And he gave me this opportunity where he said that if you're willing, we would like to
Mm-hmm.
set the team up, and it would be your job to kind of set it up from scratch.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
And there was this poor old me. I had no experience in this institute of McKinsey and Company with all the famous MBAs in the world, right?
Right.
But somehow I met my people, met my tribe, hired a lot. I love hiring freshers a lot. Right. I always
Yeah.
feel they give you
Right.
perspective, they keep you on your toes.
Of course. Of
Um,
course.
and and yeah, so I kind of built this team up, did reasonably well at McKinsey, and by the end of my tenure at McKinsey, I was pretty much a client-facing consultant.
Okay. Right.
So I
Right.
kind of did both jobs, right? So the
Right.
hands-on coder to the
Right.
problem solver to the client-facing consultant,
Right.
all of that.
Right.
Got I actually got a bit bored of being a client-facing consultant
Okay.
because
Okay.
it became
Mm-hmm.
monotonous after a certain while because
Okay.
the faces were changing, but all I
Mm-hmm.
was saying was the same thing, right?
Right. Right. So
Um,
it becomes
and
monotonous. Right. Right.
Yes. So that's when Anirudh, by this time, Anirudh had left and joined Bain. And so he
Okay.
came and said, "Hey, why don't we try and build a similar concept within the Bain
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem?" And then
Okay.
that's how
Okay.
I joined. But this time around, in a lot more senior position, a lot more seasoned. So
Nice.
very different experiences of building the
Right.
same concept
Right.
in
Right.
two different environments.
That's really
In the
wonderful.
meantime, I also became a father